It's time for another season preview here on the Carlow Sports Network. We look at women's soccer. I'm Sean Meyers, joined by the seventh-year head coach, Allen Duda. And Allen, we've done a lot of these together now, so thanks for taking the time. How's everything been with you?
It's going really good. Yeah, season's approaching, so we're pretty excited.
I know you look back at last year, 2 wins, you had 3 ties as well. How did you evaluate how the season went?
It was a tough season, battled through a couple injuries, new conference, but overall thought it went well.
We talk about the new conference. There was a big change to the NCAA and the Allegheny Mountain Collegiate Conference, and you won a couple of games in conference play. So what were the benefits of that change?
Joining a new conference, yeah, exciting to see different new teams. Cut down on our travel quite a bit, so that was exciting. And playing local teams, you get that rivalry back. So we're pretty excited to join the AMCC.
I know we'll get to some of the returning players momentarily because there's a lot of them, but there were a handful of players who moved on from last year's team. So what void did they leave?
They're being seniors or graduating, that leadership from the upperclassmen that left. A couple of them were goalkeepers, so losing goalkeepers, key position on our team. But overall, we have some new players coming in to fill those voids.
And you also have a lot back in terms of players who have experience. So who do you lean upon and what are the expectations for those returners?
There's quite a few leaders, I think, on this team. It's tough to narrow down one or two of them. Looking for some of those returners to really take charge this year, have good season.
You also mentioned that there's newcomers, whether that be transfers or freshmen into the program. So what have you seen from that group and how do you establish expectations for their seasons?
Yeah, really excited with the new players coming in, transfers and first years. I think they're going to add value to the team right away. So pretty excited to see what they bring.
I'm sure it's still kind of a puzzle piece fitting everything together, but if all goes according to plan, what do you want to see in terms of style of play?
We're more of a possession team, so holding possession to attack. So I see us holding the ball quite a lot. Defensively, we're pretty strong. The last couple of years, we've been having trouble scoring goals. So this year, we're looking to change that and score some goals this year.
We mentioned last year was your inaugural season in the AMCC, but you've seen some of those teams for multiple years now, so you probably have a grasp. How do you evaluate the outlook of the conference this year?
It's going to be a competitive conference. Tough to say who's going to be on top right now because there's some really good teams in our conference, but we're hoping to be in the mix up at the top.
When you put together the non-conference schedule, what were some of the goals? What stands out about that part of the schedule?
I think just looking at some different teams, we try and schedule some USCAA teams because we are affiliated with the USCAA. So try and see some of those teams, some new teams, just to get a different look.
What goals and objectives did you establish this year for the team?
Goals, recruiting class, which we have a really good recruiting class coming in, getting them together and gelling, being a family before the season starts was important to us. So I think those were the big goals for us this year.
When you talk about gelling and finding that chemistry, is there anything as a coach you do to kind of speed that process up?
Get them communicating quite a bit, talking and seeing what their likes, dislikes are. Once the training starts, we'll see how it carries over to the field.
Any great coach will lean upon their assistants for a lot of help, and Olivia Wilkerson's one of those for you. What does she provide?
She brings a great atmosphere to the team. Her knowledge of the game is extremely good. She's an important role to this team.
Last year, it was an incredible accomplishment. You had 16 players who achieved all academic honors. What does that mean to you, and what does that mean for this program?
For me, that's awesome. That's more exciting than how the season went. Seeing those accolades are very important to us. Our studies here at Carlow are important, and yeah, the team did well, and they showed it.
Lastly, I see you as much as anyone that I see at Carlow. You're always here, whether it be coaching or your various other roles. What do you like most about being here at Carlow?
The atmosphere here, it's a small university and everyone knows everyone. So it's, to me, it's like having another family here at Carlow.
Well, Alan, thanks so much as always for doing this. Always means it's ready for the start of the fall season. I get to interview you. So thanks so much, and we're looking forward to it.
Sure thing. I appreciate it.
That's Allen Duda, the head coach for women's soccer here on the season preview. We continue season preview looking at Carlow women's soccer for the 2024 season. Sean Meyers joined by a sophomore, Arley Wilson. First off, thanks for doing this. How's everything going with you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I want to talk first about last season because it was a really good year for you. You were a freshman, but you led the team in goals. So how were you able to be so successful in your first year?
I definitely put in the work in over the summer. I came off my senior year. I didn't have necessarily the best senior year, but it was okay. So I definitely just wanted to put the time in so I could come in as a freshman. And I wasn't expecting such a good season, but it was definitely worth it, and it ended up being a good season.
I'm sure there were pretty big adjustments from playing at the high school level at Connellsville to playing collegiately. So what were some of those adjustments you had to make?
I would say the biggest thing was like the dedication I had to have. I've always been like busy doing everything else, and now like with playing college soccer, I have to do the college soccer. That I don't have anything else really going on. Like I have to devote my time to soccer, so I'd say that's the biggest.
I mentioned you came by way of Connellsville in the WPIAL. Did you know any of your current teammates before you got to Carlow?
I didn't. I met my roommate through Carlow Soccer. And so like we got to talking like over the summer and stuff. So like when I came, like I had an idea, like we met a few times, but other than that I didn't really know anyone. I knew of like maybe a couple people, but not really.
So looking ahead to this season, who do you envision maybe having a breakthrough season for the Celtics?
Mm, I'm excited for Hannah Byros. I really enjoy playing with her. Um, we connect our passes very well with one another, so I'm excited. She definitely is one to play with, so I'm excited for that.
It's a time of year where everyone wants to establish goals for the upcoming season, both collectively for the team and individually. So what do you have in mind?
I would like to continue to lead the team in goals and just play as a team player, and hopefully we all, like my biggest goal would be for all of us to be playing as one and have a successful season.
You get the benefit of playing in one of the most beautiful venues around at Highmark Stadium. So what do you like so much about playing there?
It really is one of the most beautiful places. We get to play right on the river. We get to see the beautiful city in the background. It's a great field. It's nice turf. I enjoy playing on the turf. I can't complain. It is really one of the prettiest stadiums. So.
Had you ever been there before joining Carlo?
I have, yeah. My best friend played there, and I would go and watch her sometimes. So yeah, I've been there a few times.
So I'm sure your coach Allen Duda would want you to say all of them, but is there any particular matches that you're most looking forward to this year?
I would say La Roche. I'm excited. It was a tough game last year, and I think they got us by one goal, like right in the end. So hopefully this year it's a good match, and it's another Pittsburgh school, so that's always good.
Lastly, fill in the blank. This will be a successful season for Carlo if
Well, if we all play as a team and play together, it's gonna be. We definitely lost a few key players, like as they graduated. We do have a lot coming back for their fifth year. A lot of the seniors coming back, so the freshmen are definitely gonna have to step up, and hopefully they can and they will. I believe they will. So I think we'll have a good year if we all play together and fill in spots that we maybe have missing from last year.
we're certainly looking forward to seeing it unfold. Arley, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
That is sophomore Arley Wilson here on the season preview. We continue the season preview. Sean Meyers joined by Lyndsey Szekely, a third-year goalkeeper for the Celtics. And before we get into the hard-hitting questions, how's everything been with you?
It's been pretty good. I've had a really great summer and excited to be back on campus.
Well, before we look ahead, let's look back at last year. How did you evaluate your performance in that?
Yeah. So I was looking at the huddle footage, just rewatching, seeing, what plays I did well, what plays I could have improved on, trying to see what other goalkeepers were doing and how I could improve throughout, all the time off we had.
Well, speaking of improving, was there a particular area that you focused upon throughout the offseason?
So during the off season, I was lifting a lot, just, try to build up the muscle, try and prevent those injuries, focusing on also the technical aspects of things. So.
I think it's pretty obvious to people that, only understand soccer at the most simplistic level. Goalkeeper has to save the shots. but there's a lot more behind that. So what's maybe an underrated aspect of your job?
Yeah, so I will say the mental aspect of it. Sometimes you know you can save the shot and it's just you get in your own head. And it's definitely one of those hard parts of being a goalkeeper is you just have to kind of get over your fears or whatever's going on in your brain and just figure it out, make sure you save that shot.
Last year, there were plenty of goalies on the roster.
Yes.
There was 5 who saw time. So what were the benefits of that? What were the challenges of having so many keepers?
So it was kind of beneficial and a challenge to have so many keepers, obviously, because you're pushing each other harder. You're making sure that you are each playing to your highest level possible. But then one of the challenges is, someone has to go in net. There's only one position on the field for a keeper, so having 5 of you, it's a little bit challenging to see time.
What objectives individually and collectively have you set this year?
So individually, I just want to, improve my game. I want to be the best keeper I can be, save as many shots as I can. But collectively, I want us to be more of a cohesive unit. I want us to be this team that people look at and they're like, wow, I wonder how they got that way. I just want us to work together and make sure that we're connecting our passes and we're connecting on that same wavelength.
It was a big adjustment last year because it was a new conference altogether, the NCAA and the AMCC. So the travel was significantly less. How beneficial was that?
That was so beneficial. I remember our freshman season. We went 1 week to Indiana, 8 hours there, 8 hours back, had a week at home, and then we had another week out in Indiana back. And that was just such a challenge because you're trying to connect with your professors and say, hey, I am going to be gone. And then I have another week where I'm going to be gone right after that. It's just nice to be able to be in the classroom and, we have those trips that are 2-3 hours away where we just get to leave and come back that same day.
What do you like most about your head coach, Allen Duda?
Alan's such a great guy. Him and I work in the admissions office together, and it's just so nice because we'll be able to talk to each other, and he's always so open to having players come into his office, talk to him. He wants to hear our problems, and he wants to try and have a solution for us.
Lastly, what makes Carlow so special to you?
Carlow is it's this small little tight-knit community, and I know everyone says their university, whenever it's small, is a tight-knit community, but we really are here, and I just love that I can talk to anybody on this campus, and I love that I can connect with so many individuals, and I love that I can hold so many different roles on this campus. I work so many different jobs here, and I get to connect with so many different people.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. We appreciate your time. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
That is goalkeeper Lyndsey Szekely here on the season preview.